What's up, guys? It's NoChainzz, and I'm here with a commentary, sort of an informative or an analysis commentary. And before I get commented to death by non-subscribers, because my subscribers don't really give me negative feedback, they pretty much just support me. But I am well aware that it is preseason, and I am well aware that these performances are not the same, or these performances won't reflect what will happen in the regular season. It's more of a scouting process, and don't think what I say in this video will mean that the person I talk about will turn out to be a Hall of Famer. When I talk about who I'm going to talk about, it means I'm simply impressed with what they did in their first NFL game, whether it be preseason or regular season. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite team, the Bengals, and I'm also going to talk about the other preseason games briefly. But I have a few things I want to talk about. A few people, starting with the Bengals game. I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to talk about the entire preseason. And I'll probably put the time where I start talking about the entire preseason, the first week of it, in the description. But the first thing that I want to talk about the Bengals is 3 injuries to 3 starters, 2 defensively, 1 offensively, in the first 4 minutes of the game. That is definitely not good. We definitely need all 22 starters to be starting at their right positions. Although in some positions we have more depth than others, but in order for this team to succeed, we're not that loaded. On offensive line, I feel like that's one of our positions that we're short at, and that's why we went out and got Zeitler. I just feel like we need all 5 of our offensive linemen to start. And Travell Wharton was the first injury that happened. Second came Ray Maluga, and third came Carlos Dunlap. Both of those players, Ray Maluga and Carlos Dunlap, they've played for us for a few years, and Dunlap and Ray Maluga both showed tremendous potential. Speaking of Ray Maluga, he was definitely all over the field before his injury. I think he got a sack on the first drive, and he was just flying all over the field, filling gaps, getting tackles. So I think he's ready to contribute to the defense that Mike Zimmer has going here in Cincinnati, or there in Cincinnati. I'm not in Cincinnati, but I think Mike Zimmer is definitely a good defensive coordinator, because look at what he's done with the defense since he's been there. He put him in the top 15 for, I think, almost every year he's been there. But back to what I was saying, the 3 injuries is definitely, we're definitely hoping that those aren't gonna sideline those players for more than the preseason. And back to Ray Maluga, he definitely played very well from what I saw so far. And the Jets don't really have that good of an offensive line, so I shouldn't be too excited about that. But the next person I want to talk about was AJ Green. He got targeted twice. Once was a missed throw, and the second one was a drop after taking sort of a hit from Darrelle Revis. I just wished, it's only preseason, but I wish they could have targeted him a few more times so we could see how he's doing over the offseason, what progression he's made. But he was going against Darrelle Revis, so although it's the preseason, there's still Revis howling. But I talked about Ray Maluga, but I'm just going to be switching around subjects. What I have right here, the points that I want to talk about. But since I talked about Ray Maluga, I just want to talk about this whole defense as a unit. The first, second, and third team, we all played well, or they all played well. And the only thing that they had that wasn't that good was their defense against Tebow's running ability. But I think we played the pass against Tebow pretty well. We played the pass against Sanchez quite well. I think we covered their receivers really well. And I think we just need to get better at defending the scrambling QBs like Tebow. But I'm sure in the regular season we'll end up game planning for them. But Tebow, we all know what Tebow can do. He can ask you, he demands you to pick your poison, well, not exactly a poison, because his throwing ability and decision making wasn't all that good in this game. But in last year, he actually kept his picks to a minimum. So I just think we really need to game plan for scrambling QBs. And another person I want to talk about was Brandon Tate. I don't know if you guys remember him. He played for the Patriots. They actually placed him on waivers, and the Bengals picked him up. There was a lot of speculation around that. If you follow the Bengals, you may not have heard it on NFL Network or something, or ESPN, but there was a lot of speculation saying that he was unhappy coming to the Bengals. Or I don't think that was true, but I think you know how the media makes everything seem. And he was actually doing good at receiver. He actually made a lot of plays for us last year in the special teams part of football, but in the offense he really didn't get any catches. But in this game, when they had the second defense on the field, of course, I was just impressed with how his effort and his athleticism. He has jumping ability, he definitely has speed, but I didn't know he had hands. And he definitely showed me a lot in terms of his catching ability in that game versus the Jets. And of course, you guys may, if you follow the Bengals or you know about the Bengals, you know about Brian Leonard. He comes in a lot in wild card formations for the Bengals and screens for the Bengals, and they utilize him correctly. And a lot of people don't think he would be a good player to utilize on screens because he's a big power back, comparable to Peyton Hillis, but he actually does do his job as a receiving running back and catches those balls out of the backfield. So he did pretty good. He was quite impressive. Also, I want to give a honorable mention to Cedric Pearman. I guarantee a lot of you guys, at least 90% of you guys, or maybe a little less, don't know who Cedric Pearman is. I think he just barely made the Bengals roster, but for the last 2 or 3 preseasons, he's been doing well. He's very impressive. He ended up with 2 touchdowns in that Jets game, 1 on special team, which was a recover block punt, and 1 rushing one. He actually came out of the pile. It was a goal line rush, and he actually came out of the pile standing up. Power back. He's a power back, so that was really impressive. 2 touchdowns on the day. And another person I want to talk about is Marvin Jones, our rookie receiver. He made a few big plays. Definitely showed that he could, in my opinion, challenge Mohamed Sanu for that second receiver on the other side of AJ Green. But once again, he was only going against the second team, so I would have to see how he played against other teams. And last point I want to make about the Bengals, or the second to last point, is that I think we have a lot of depth at linebacker, and our starting linebackers are pretty good in my opinion. We have Manny Lawson and Ray Maluga, and I can never remember who's on the other side because we end up switching out Ray Maluga at outside linebacker and inside linebacker. So I can't remember who the third linebacker is, but we definitely have depth at that position. We have Dante Moch, Roderick McElroy, and Vontaze Burfict. He definitely made a big impact in that game after picking Tebow off. And other than that, he was flying all over the field on special teams and doing a great job getting tackles and everything. And the last point I wanted to make about the Bengals was that Jordan Shipley didn't play until the 4th quarter. And I don't know if that's because he's coming back from injury. I don't know if he's digressed back to maybe a 4th or 5th receiver. And also my question is, I could just Google it, but My question was, where is Andre Caldwell? I'm not sure if we cut him or what. He actually was a good receiver for us in the past couple of years, especially in the year where we swept the entire division. I don't know where he is right now. And I didn't really talk about the Jets, but one thing I could mention about the Jets is that they really didn't make that much use of Tebow, how a lot of people say they should use him. A lot of people think they should use him from the shotgun formation, which is true. And a lot of people think they should put him in a wildcat, which Rex Ryan actually said that we should prepare for the wildcat. And they didn't actually run the wildcat. Now that I think about it, they didn't run it at all. Excuse me, but especially not with Tebow. Tebow was actually used as a traditional QB. I don't know if the offensive coordinator used this to see if he could be that in case he loses the starting job. Mark Sanchez loses the starting job. I'm not sure what their thoughts are, but that's one of the glaring points I see from the Jets standpoint. And their offensive line didn't play very well, and that's not that much out of the norm. Now starting with the entire preseason, I'm just gonna say a few stats and then tell you the scores in case you guys care. It's only preseason, but I've been waiting for football for so long. Like, I feel like it's been ages. I'm just happy for football to be back. And here are the scores. The Redskins defeated the Buffalo Bills 7-6. I hear RG3 had a very solid game. Baltimore defeated Atlanta, and I hear Julio Jones had a tremendous game. And New England defeated New Orleans. I'm not sure about that game. Is that New Orleans? I don't know if that's New Orleans because they played in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, it is New Orleans. Okay. So they beat New Orleans, lost to the Patriots. Philly beat Pittsburgh by 1 point. San Diego beat Green Bay by 8 points, 21-13. Denver defeated Chicago 31-3, and I was trying to figure out who had a really big day for Denver, and I wanted to see if Peyton Manning did good. I have to check that out. But Cleveland defeated Detroit. I heard Brandon Whedon had a really rough game. Jacksonville defeated the Giants. I heard Blaine Gabbert had a good game. I heard he was actually looking better than he was last year. Tampa Bay defeated Miami. Kansas City defeated Arizona, and San Francisco defeated Minnesota. And there are 4 other preseason games to be played this week. And this is the only preseason video that I'll do because I just been waiting for football for so long. Like, it's crazy. Like, I just had to make a commentary about this. And I know what you're seeing on the screen has nothing to do with football, so I know you guys just probably put me in another tab and looked at something else while you listen to me. And if you got to this point in the video, I just want to say thank you for listening to me talk about the Bengals, or listen to me talk about preseason. And if you guys could just comment and let me know what player you were most impressed with in the week 1 performances in the preseason. And I'll see you guys.